All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Smarketing CONNECT podcast. I'm here today with my friend and someone I've known for a few years now, I think, at this point, Alex. But I'm here with Alex from Digital Plus. So, Alex, let's get right into it in a few sentences. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Alex Bungener, and I'm the owner of a company called Digital Plus, and we started literally in 10 days, 9 years ago.
Wow.
And what we do in a nutshell is we get businesses found, known, liked, and trusted via the internet, because that's where people go to look for services in particular and goods or products.
So that was pretty quick. So let me ask you. So in that phrasing of what you're doing. So just for hoots and hollers, SEO is a term that people throw around all the time. But what do those three letters mean and some of the value behind that?
It's search engine optimization. It's getting in on the first page of Google when people are looking for what you do or for the type of products that you sell. It's shifted though in the past couple of years, especially if it's a local search. If someone's looking for a plumber or an IT company or a CPA, it's now the maps area of Google that matters. So SEO is what people are very familiar with,
Right.
but in actuality for the small local businesses, it's really maps optimization now.
Perfect. Perfect. So tell me about some of the companies you work with. What are their, and I know the screen says size, but it can be anything. Is it a particular size, shape, demographic, vertical market? What type of companies do you work with?
Almost all of my customers are service businesses. A lot of them they come to you. They're a service area business as opposed to you coming to them. The exceptions are like attorneys and CPAs and dentists and such that I work with where the people come to them. But with a lot of the contractors and home services and business services, they go to the business. I work with solopreneurs, and I think the largest company I work with is 60 employees. So it's that full gamut, but doesn't have to be limited to 60 employees.
Right. So it's more style-based companies versus it doesn't matter if they're 1 million or 50 million. It's service-based companies are the
Right.
best companies for you. Got it. Okay.
Doesn't even matter if they're on 100 grand.
Good point. Good point. Which would the solopreneur probably should have prompted that. This is probably one of my favorite questions because I'm all about tools for business owners to either make their job better, faster, easier, whatever that looks like to people. But and all of us use a tremendous amount of small business tools. But to you, what is the one that stands out that is a must-have for small business owners that they should be using daily?
I think a CRM system to keep track of prospects and existing customers and when they should be reaching back out to them, whether they're a prospect or a customer, in terms of for internally in their business. I think that one of their most important tools, though, is their website, because that is the foundation of everything digital for a company. And that, to me, is what is the most important business tool.
Making sure that website, and again, it's kind of like your image, right? It's like the old version of a billboard or something like that people see first. Whatever they see first is usually their first impression. It's very hard to get over that if it's not a good one.
Right. And we look at the website in a perspective of it moving people to knowing, liking, and trusting the business. So that's what you need to look at within your website. Is it accomplishing that? And your internet presence on the internet accomplishing the same thing.
Very good point. Very good point. So, Alex, we know you're an SEO person. We know you're a digital a website person. I was going to say the name of your company again. But, between website, SEO, that seems pretty self-explanatory. But when people bring you in to solve challenges, is it more complicated than just saying SEO and digital, SEO and website?
Yes. With the shift from regular SEO as we knew it for 20 years to being the maps optimization, it's very different what needs to be done to get in the maps section of Google. It's also way the heck more competitive because there's only 3 businesses listed
Right.
as opposed to the 10 in the organic section. Not that the organic section is ignored, but it's the maps part that matters the most. And when you look at that, you also have to look at the person's location because it's very proximity based. So it's a whole different angle and perspective in things that we do outside of the website to get them to come up in the map section.
So for me, what that just said into my mind is that it's all about it's a visibility thing, right? So
Oh yeah,
it's not just being found on Google in the page, but it's a proximity, it's a visibility to location. You know, it's really important to make sure that you stay within a, you know, in your world, and the geographics make sense, or the geographics make it more pertinent to what you're doing.
right.
So
Especially for small
visibility
business.
from geographics basically is what
Yeah.
popped into my head. Is that
Yes.
okay?
For a small business, a local business, yes, the geographic area is important. And it's tricky when it's tricky when you are a service-based business because you know you typically cover the city you're in and the ones that surround it. You know, you look at plumbers and pest control and all of that kind of stuff, and they do that. So the farther out you're trying to reach, the harder it is to get there because proximity, along with relevance and prominence, are the 3 factors with ranking within the map section.
Got it.
So it's a longer slog, if you want to call it that, to get them exposure 20 miles out in the next town or whatever. But it can be done, but it just takes a longer time to do so.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So on this particular one, I like to ask people, now you're the advisor, right? So you're already working with a company, you're helping them with their SEO, you're helping them with their website. They're getting really great leads coming in, but now they need help with something else in the realm of sales or marketing. And they ask you what they should be looking for or what they should be asking these consultants that they're bringing in. What kind of advice do you give to small business owners when they ask you these types of questions?
Is the agency looking at it, in a sense, holistically, or the whole picture? For example, I was talking with a prospect yesterday, and one of the things that we discovered was their phone button on the mobile version of the website, because they have one of those vanity phone numbers.
Yeah.
It was all 10 numbers on, no, 20 numbers that came up on the dialer. They could never dial the company.
Interesting.
And I was the one that discovered it during our Zoom yesterday. Because we look at things from the user perspective. And I think that's one of my strengths, is being able to look at something from Joe Schmuck's point of view and how it works. And we look at it from that viewpoint. And I think that should be always looked at before you do any kind of marketing type of thing, whether it's social media marketing or internet advertising, because again, your website is the foundation of everything that you do. And you want to make sure that it's, as I always like to say, we look at websites, are they dead simple, stupid, easy for the person to reach out to the business if they're sold on talking to them? And that's what we try to do. And we do it pretty simple.
So your advice to them is make sure that you're asking questions so they understand the holistic perspective of the company that they're doing
Or that the
business
company is asking and they're looking and seeing whether things are set up optimally.
with. Right. Got it.
And, you know, some marketing agencies don't do websites, so they don't know how to make those edits. We
Right.
have the advantage of being able to go in and do those edits and make those improvements and make the more user friendly and optimized.
Perfect. Okay. So this is probably one of my more favorite questions, because well, we're all human, and I want to make sure that people understand that we're just not here to preach from the soapbox about sales and marketing, and we can have a little bit of fun with this, right? So,
Yeah.
so Alex, I ask you, if you could be a superhero, who would it be, and tell me why?
My answer would be Mr. Incredible because heck, he's married to Holly Hunter.
Yeah. Mr. Incredible. So that was a very simple question, really simple answer. That's the only reason for Mr. Incredible.
I've never been a superhero fan type of thing. I didn't grow up being like a big fan of Batman or Superman or Spider-Man or any of those. So that's what I came up with.
Got it. Hey, I'm okay with the answer. I just wanted to, point it out that you only had one reason, and I mean, the reason's fine. All right.
It's a fun movie too. Both of them are fun movies. So
True. Very true.
yeah.
All right. So here's your opportunity to kind of pay it forward a little bit. When we post these out on LinkedIn, we like to give a shout out to our friends and colleagues that we really admire or appreciate or have worked with and really think they do a good job. So, and then on occasion, we actually have them on the podcast. So that's another reason we do this part. But somebody in sales and marketing, who would you recommend to people? Who would you give that shout out to?
I will give that shout out to Jennifer Anderson with, oh boy, why am I? CMP, Cohesion Marketing Partners. Jeez. Knew I couldn't go through this without.
She's going to hear this because I'm tagging her on LinkedIn. So
yeah, I just had the brain. Yeah.
That's okay. So give us an idea why. What have you worked with her in the past, or?
Yes, we've worked together, and I've known her for a few years, and I also know her husband, who does the video marketing aspect. She's a full service marketing thing, and they've been in the advertising industry for years. As a matter of fact, her husband, Glenn, is the one that came up with, if you remember the slogan from Silco Honda, he's the one that came up with that whole advertising thing for them back years ago. But they work in particular with the dental and healthcare fields and some other areas, and they have the whole gamut of different things.
Interesting. And that's an underserved industry from sales and marketing perspectives. Yes, a lot of times. So very cool. All right. We'll make sure we tag them when we publish it. All right. So this is basically the end of the end for us. And I always like to ask Alex, so I found all of this stuff public facing from your website and LinkedIn and so on and so forth. But aside from what's on the screen here, how else can people find you? What if they have questions? What else? How else can they reach out to you?
Well, you can go and look for Digital Plus LLC on Facebook. And we also have another website that's strictly about the local SEO, maps optimization, and that is the local SEO services.biz. That's another site. On there, we show proof of our effectiveness. But you can always give me a call. If I usually answer the phone. If I'm not available, just leave a message and I'll call you back. Perfect.
And of course, everyone, as you're watching this on Smarketing Connect, Alex is one of our experts on Smarketing Connect. So if you remember none of this, Smarketing Connect will be able to connect you to Alex as well. And we'll make sure you get to him one way or the other. So Alex, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This was great. A lot of fun. And I enjoyed your company. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me, and everyone have a great 4th, as this is the day before the 4th. Y'all be good.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Take care.